Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the EDF special podcast for the Oscars today. Um, I am joined today by a couple of special guests who spend every waking moment that I see anyway, um, betting, if you will. And so there's no two people that I'd rather have right now to talk about the Oscars and the odds than Mr. Tom. I hope I don't say it, Cunningham. Am I correct, Tom?
Yeah, that's correct. You pronounced
Tom
that
Cunningham and
right.
Stuart. Uh, Stuart, what's your last name? I'm sorry.
You can just go monotone football. That's what everyone calls
There
me.
you go, and
Anyway.
it works anyway because this guy here has a following that is as crazy as anything you can imagine. Tom, we got us a true rock star right here.
Oh yeah, he's solid. I see some of the plays put out there and tweets put out there. Much respect.
He's the man. But so today we're going to get both of these guys to talk about the Oscars. That's coming up tomorrow, as you all know. And if any two people know all there is to know about this, it'll be these two. Tom, I know you work for another organization for which you have done tremendous research in this area. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I'm with Vegas Insider right now. They're a content editorial production manager. And basically I moved down here in Florida where you are. Paul took the job here, and what we do is we cover sports betting. We give odds, predictions, picks, plays, odds comparisons, your typical sports betting affiliate website. And right now we kind of went all in on Oscars this year because I believe Michigan went ahead and greenlit regulation. I know Indiana and New Jersey were already good to go, but it seems that the market might be growing a little bit quicker than we anticipated. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of Oscar stuff. So definitely check out vegasinsider.com and follow us on YouTube and Twitter as well.
Vegasinsider.com. Really cool. Really cool. So to prepare for this, you guys did all that work. What have you been doing to prepare for it?
Well, I've watched 38 movies.
38 movies.
Yeah, it's been crazy. 400.
That's a lot of
4,
popcorn, man.
What's that?
I said that's a lot of popcorn.
Yeah, man, a lot of popcorn, a lot of soda, a lot of coffee, a lot of $20 movie rentals too. 71 and a half hours.
Did that.
Got it in.
Yeah, very sweet. Yeah, I just rented Broken. I mean, Nobody. That's what it's called. Nobody.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, it might be nominated for next year's awards. We'll have to see. Bob Odenkirk, man, he's been killing it.
He is. He's pretty good, and he was really good in the movie. I'm not going to go too much into more of that right now, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But we got Monotone. Talk to me a little bit about your interest in the Oscars, man.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't obviously watched every single movie that Tom has. No way. But I've caught most of the Best Picture movies. I've got most of the movies involved, and really I've just been running through who won awards at what places, who won what precursors, just trying to see like what past trends we can see from the Oscars and how we can apply that to this year. So I haven't gone crazy with watching all the movies. I've seen some pretty good movies, but yeah, I've really just been trying to run and see what trends are applying to right now and this year and how we can make some money off of it.
And what got you interested in this stuff so much? Because I know that you do the sports. I know you love the football, and then you do a great job on the basketball. So what got you into the movies?
Yeah, I mean, I love watching the movies, and then I love, like, it's kind of combining two of my passions, like betting and then watching the movies. Like it feels like an area where not too many people might have as much, like, a combination of knowledge that I do, or like even like time invested into it. So I feel like I have a pretty good edge over a lot of people.
Right. All right. So between the both of you, Tom, what do you think is it obviously the best picture? Is that our big category? Is that the big one at the end that we wait for? By the way, let me just give let everybody know that I told you a while ago. I am by far the expert in that area. I love this. I love the movies. I love this time. I love the Oscars. But I'm the guy in here who ain't going to have all the information. So I'm going to refer to both of these guys. And so when I say something like Tom is just the main category, the main picture, but I say that as I know, but somebody who watches it and does this all the time, there could be something that's bigger that I'm not aware of.
No, it's the last one. It's the one that they announced before they go off air. I mean, maybe if you're a fan of, one of the actors or actresses that are nominated, but no, this is the last one. So it's like the main event, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
But Stewart hit on something pretty key, which is, past award shows, not necessarily last year's award shows, but I'm talking about like Golden Globes this year, the SAGs, Screen Actor Guild Awards. That's really key, I think, kind of going back and seeing what other precursor award shows, who they gave their awards to. I think that's definitely key. He hit the nail on the head there.
So do you find then that it follows a trend? Does it follow that trend, or is there times like where it doesn't really matter though?
I don't know. Like, I think a good example is Andrea Day for Best Actress, U.S. versus Billie Holiday. So she's coming in with the fourth lowest odds in most sports books to win, but she took home the Golden Globe for that award. Carey Mulligan and Viola Davis also won Best Actress awards already this year for other award shows. Really? So I think if you look at Day, I think she's plus 600 on DraftKings. The fact that she's already beaten out all the other nominees at the Golden Globes, I think there's value there. So kind of putting Stewart's, spin on it where, you could look at that and say Day has great value to win.
Wow. And she was the one, the US versus Billie Holiday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And what do you think, Monotone?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So as you were saying before, like Best Picture is the best, like the biggest deal of the night, but in terms of betting, it's not quite there. Like Nomadland, you'll see is a minus 225 favorite. So there's not a whole lot of value betting like Nomadland. We see a lot of favorites with like minus 500, minus 600 odds across the board. So he actually brought up a category that's really competitive, which is Best Actress this year, where there's no clear favorite. Every single person is over plus 100. So it's really a free for all in that category.
Right. So you even think Vanessa Kirby, right?
Yeah, I mean,
she sneak in there?
I mean, she's been nominated at every award show. She hasn't won yet, so I think she's the only one without a win on this list. But I mean, she's been nominated anywhere. I wouldn't even be shocked. I mean, it would be a bit weird, but I wouldn't be shocked if she pulled it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked her in that movie, Piece of Woman. I mean, I understand why she has the longest odds, but I actually had her ranked third of the best actresses. So like, if you like Vanessa Kirby, go for it. But I think if you're going to take a long shot, I think Day is your best option.
I got you. So in a way, who is it? Mulligan?
Yeah, Carey Mulligan.
Yeah. So they would be the ones who are expected to win. Wouldn't be a shocker to win. And Kirby would be that dark horse that could come out of nowhere.
Yep, exactly. But that's really anyone's game. I'm telling you, that's the closest one we've got. I don't see enough value to bet anyone out of those three, just because I really do think it could be anyone on that list. Like, it's the most wide open category in my opinion.
Okay, so if this is the most wide open one, which one is the closed? Which one is the closed, should I say, one? Which one is a lock? Who's got the lock?
Chloe Zhao for Best Director. She's won at every single other award ceremony that you can think of, even ones that I could just make up right now. She'd win. She's won everything. Yeah, so you do not want to bet against her right here. She's like in a history-making run right now, and the Oscars aren't going to be the ones to change that, in my opinion.
And what movie was that?
Nomadland, which is Best Picture frontrunner too.
Right. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I look at Best Film Editing. Nomadland is plus 900. I think if Nomadland kind of gets on a roll, that might be worth a look. When typically when these movies win 5 or 6 awards, they're just cruising. Right. Parasite was a good example of that last year. But I do think that that's a good lock. Best Director, I think. So I'm on Fox Bet, and DraftKings doesn't necessarily have specials bets for this. Fox Bet does, and I see one, and it's minus 800. It's a lot, but I think it's a lock. Soul to win Best Animated Film and Best Original Score, and I think it's a lock for animated film. Wolfwalkers was pretty good. Farmageddon was okay. Onward and Over the Moon, not very good. So I think that Soul's a lock for animated film. And then best original score, I would argue outside of Sound of Metal, Soul was the best movie this year that involved music. And I would argue that if Sound of Metal was not produced this year, Soul would win best sound as well. They'd have a hat trick this year. So I think score is a lock, and I think animated feature film is a lock for -800.
Wow, I like that movie. I like the music in that movie, so I understand where you're coming from there. That was a really good show. Where were we just at though with the bit? Okay, so those are your locks. When we get to that big one, or let's go with the best actor. So give me your thoughts on the best actors, Tom.
I think it's a lock for Chadwick Boseman. If you like Anthony Hopkins, that's fine. I personally like Riz Ahmed a lot, but I think it's Chadwick Boseman. I think it's his time. It's unfortunate he's not going to be able to accept it this year, but I just think his performance was overwhelming in my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Monotone.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. Chadwick Boseman has won everywhere so far, rightfully so. And most people do think he's about a lock to win this, but we are seeing some momentum slowly build up for The Father, and specifically Anthony Hopkins, who many people are saying this is his best performance ever. And that's including a movie like Silence of the Lambs, which is an all-time classic.
Right.
So I think we might, I mean, I might be crazy for thinking this, but I think we could see The Father maybe go on a roll. I'm not willing to put a whole lot on this, but at +700 to win Best Actor, I think a lot of people are going to say, you know what, Chadwick Boseman, he's going to win. But I personally loved Anthony Hopkins, so I'm going to vote him there. But everyone else will vote Chadwick, so it'll be fine. I think we might see enough people actually do that where he might have a shot at this. So at +700, there might be a little bit of value there. I know most people would not agree with that, but I think we might see a surprise run from The Father, and I'm willing to throw a couple bucks on a couple different categories for The Father tomorrow.
I like where your head's at, Stuart, because I think there's a big issue with the public betting this year because of the availability of these movies. Ma Rainey's, everyone has Netflix. Almost everyone has Netflix. I'd be willing to bet Netflix is the most popular streaming service that most people have. So I think a lot of people viewed Ma Rainey's early, especially. And The Father, you can only get as a $20 rental. Or go to the movie theater. It's not on a Hulu or Netflix for free or an Amazon Prime. So I think what you're seeing, I'm also seeing a lot of minority takers for Best Picture with DraftKings right now too. The handle is going towards minority right now. And that's another $20 rental movie. So I think what you're seeing is a late push on these hard to access movies that have been nominated. Because now I think what you're seeing is people looking at these tickets and saying, okay, Minari, okay, The Father, okay, Promising Young Woman, Judas Black Messiah. These are movies that are not on streaming services. They're on, Vudu for rental or Amazon Prime for rental, $20 rentals. So I think you're starting to see a late push of perhaps the public starting to actually view these movies, such as The Father. And kind of what you're saying, Stuart, I think that's might be a reason you're starting to see more action on Anthony Hopkins because more people are starting to now view that movie.
And you got those people too, like me, who I'm an Anthony Hopkins fan, though, and to see him come back into something like this, it kind of brings that back where you're rooting for him just because of who he is,
Yeah.
So I kind of see how both of you guys that could fit right into that when you like are dealing with somebody like me, who liked him, sees him coming back, and although we know Chadwick is. I mean, I don't know much, and I know that he's probably going to get that hands down because I'm still an Anthony Hopkins fan,
Yeah, and I mean, he's been so consistent too. It's easy to see a lot of these voters that love Anthony Hopkins. I mean, even in a movie last year, The Two Popes, which I might have been the only one in the world to actually watch that. It still got nominated. He got nominated. The Academy clearly loves Anthony Hopkins, and I think we could see a real big surprise tomorrow.
Is he just like the Atlanta Braves of this award show? Like he'll get there, but he'll never win it.
Yeah, it could be. Because he's not due. He's won it before. It's just a long time ago.
Yeah.
And see, maybe that plays into it because just like everything else, when you go that long, people start, oh, it's been that long. And look how good that movie was. Look how good he did there. So So, you give
I,
it.
uh, I would like to say I think Mads Mikkelsen being left off Best Actor. I understand why, because you can only get 5 names on the list, and the 5 names chosen. I mean, even Stephen Yeun in Minari was fantastic, but I would argue another round at -1,000. It's heavy, but for Best Foreign Film, I think that's a lock. The last 5 directors who have been nominated for Best International Film and Best Director has won the Best International Film Award. And wow. Another Round to me was my second favorite film of all the 38 I viewed. And I thought Mads Mikkelsen got left off the ticket. I thought Another Round for Best Movie got left off the ticket. Best Original Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, the list goes on. So I would look into Another Round in terms of betting favorites as well.
Yeah, I actually, just to hop in on that, I completely agree. I thought it was a great movie. I was very happy to see Vinterberg get in for director, and it's definitely, I think it's without a doubt a lock for foreign film, but I could definitely see Mikkelsen over Oldman personally. I thought the Best Actor category this year was amazing, honestly. Like just the performances in each movie were so good. I think Boseman, Hopkins, Riz Ahmed was my favorite performance of the year, and then Stephen Yeun and Gary Oldman too. A very strong category for a year that a lot of people are calling a weak year, but this specific category was really strong in my opinion.
Yeah, I would argue this was the strongest 38 films I've viewed. Now I don't do this every year for the Oscars, but I would argue that there was no disappointments in the films I viewed. And I also, Stuart, I swear we're 2 peas in a pod right now. Riz Ahmed, I thought was one of the best performances of the year too. I had so much trouble putting him over Chadwick Boseman in my rankings.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that you're saying that this year was one of the best for movies?
Strong.
And it was one that nobody could go to the movies to see.
Yeah.
So that's
even Farmageddon was good.
I didn't make it that far down the list, but
that's all right. In time, you will.
But just responding to what Paul was saying too, I think actually one of the reasons we're seeing that is because these blockbuster movies that might dominate or get that last slot in weren't included this year. You're not seeing you're seeing smaller indie-like movies like Minari, like Sound of Metal actually get the respect that they might not get in a regular year. So I think that's why we're seeing some of these smaller movies sneak in this year and actually be so impressive.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. Let's move to the supporting actresses. What do we got in that area, Tom?
Supporting actress.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I mean, Minari. I think the grandmother's going to win that. But if you like Bakalova, go for it. The Borat movie is a bit odd right now. The Golden Globes gave him the best comedy and musical. Because it's a very political movie and you had the international pool voting on those awards. So I'm willing to bet a lot of the Oscars voters are going to lean towards Borat when they can. So if you don't want to take the Minari grandmother, I'm not going to say her name because I will botch it. So then if you're looking for value, I would go Bakalova, but I think Minari is going to win that.
Yeah, I actually have a -200 ticket on Yu Jung Yoon, I believe is how you say it. Who is the grandmother Minari? It's -600 now, so I'm not saying you go that deep, or at least where I'm looking, you might get better value. So I have -200 on that. I think we've seen her run away with this. She just won the BAFTA, which is, I believe, the British. I forget the rest of it, but she just won there. And everyone else, like Bakalova, I mean, I have a really hard time believing that they award the second best Borat film when they didn't award the best Borat film that much. Nobody.
I thought the same thing until I lost the Hamilton bet.
Okay, was that at the Globes?
Yeah, the Golden Globes. That's on me though. I should have known it was international voting.
Yeah, the Hollywood Foreign Press. But Glenn Close, I mean, she's another famous actor that people love. The problem is nobody liked Hillbilly Elegy. Like literally, like the audience score is really low. Critics didn't love it. So I don't think Glenn Close, even though everyone has this narrative that she's due for one, I don't think it's hard for me to see an upset right here. Yeah, I don't see much of a lot of upset potential, but if you loved Amanda Seyfried and Mank, maybe 20 or 35 to 1 is your thing, but I would pass on those.
Yeah, I mean, you got her at -200, so that's a win right there. That's a good grab.
You're gonna make some money anyway.
Hope so.
Yeah. What about the best supporting actor? Tom
Well,
or Monotone? Go
Tom,
ahead.
sorry.
No,
I was
Yes,
just gonna
sir.
say Paul Raci should be getting his first or his best supporting actor role right here, but unfortunately, Daniel Kaluuya is pretty much a lock in this category. He gives an amazing performance in what I would argue is a lead performance, but due to the extreme competition in lead actor, they decided to campaign him in supporting. I personally think he gave a lead performance. I think he's pretty much a lock for this category because of the screen time he saw and really how he was the clear lead in that movie. So I think he wins this pretty easily.
Yeah, this reminds me of like a team in EPL getting relegated and dominating the lower league. Yeah, I give it to Kaluuya here. I'm with you. You and I must have loved Sound of Metal because I thought Paul Raci just was amazing in that. And I would even argue Stanfield. I'm shocked he has the longest odds in this nomination. But yeah, it's Kaluuya. He's gonna win it.
So Racy has, I believe it's a plus 1200.
Yeah, I mean you can test that if you want, but he's not. It's Kaluuya.
So what you're telling me is that is an A dog running in a seed track race.
Yep. And if they even if they do decide to, if let's say they split the votes, because Kaluuya and Stanfield are both in the same movie. So let's say those do get split. The Academy loves Sacha Baron Cohen. So I would think if anyone would benefit from that, it would be Sacha Baron Cohen in a movie that everyone saw on Netflix that released first. Unfortunately, I don't think Paul Raci is going to get the award that he might deserve. Not that Kaluuya gave an amazing performance. I just think it was more of a lead performance personally. That's personal bias.
You're again, this goes to the streaming. You're right. You look towards the Trial of Chicago 7's value throughout this entire market, because I'm hearing a lot of people claiming it's their favorite movie of the year, but you have to understand it was one of the first movies to come out. It was on Netflix. I would argue that the Trial of Chicago 7 was probably the most accessible movie of any movie in this year's nominated field. And that could be a huge advantage when it comes to betting this.
Gotcha. All right, that's good to know. Let's get. I kind of wanted to save it. I guess I don't want to get right into the movie because that's the big one, and then I want to ask you a little bit more about the movies itself because I'm curious.
Yeah, man.
Give me a smaller categories that are smaller but bigger that we've left out.
I have. You can go. Sorry, you start.
Well, I know. I'm going to ask you, Stuart. So, because there's some long shots. Well, I'm going to call them long shots. There's some plus value that I'm thinking about. Maybe you can tell me if you like any of them. I thought Collective was the best documentary I saw. I don't know if you saw any of those. At plus 800, I would consider taking it. I thought Husavik was the best song of the year at plus 350. Those odds are shortening. They were plus 400. For best original song, I know Speak Now is so strong though, but again, for plus value, might be worth considering. Then makeup and hairstyle. I thought Pinocchio was fantastic. I don't know if you saw that, but I'm considering that as well. Do any of those tickle your fancy, or is there something else maybe that's out there?
No, actually, I was going to documentary right now. Unfortunately, I was going in a different direction. So last night I actually tweeted this out. I put half a unit or whatever, a small wager on Crip Camp at 20-1 to win. Okay. Best documentary, because the way I'm looking at it, it just came off a win at the Indie Spirit Awards, which surprisingly enough has been a pretty good indicator over the past couple of years in terms of getting a couple winners here and there. And I really think that the favorite right now is a movie called My Octopus Teacher. And what I would compare it to is a movie that you might watch in your high school biology class when the teacher doesn't show up. It's a beautifully shot movie. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to hate on it too much, but you're right. It's not it's a beautiful movie, but it's a really boring movie, if I'm going to be honest. And I think since it's the most accessible and it's getting this Netflix push, I think some Oscar voters might actually watch it. And I think that might actually hurt it. I know that sounds silly to say, but it's really not the most gripping movie out of these. And when we go down the list, I think the Time and Collective have kind of fallen out of favor. I haven't seen that much hype about them, but what I am seeing is a little bit of a resurgence with Crip Camp, which is a documentary that, from everything I've heard, has a very happy ending. You know, it tackles a politically relevant subject in people with disabilities, and it's a pretty feel-good documentary from what I've heard. So I saw some value at 20-1, which is some pretty crazy odds.
Yeah, 20-1's good value. Stuart, though, your homework is to watch Collective.
I haven't seen it. I'll get on it. You want to give a quick summary, or not summary, a quick?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go through it real quick. Basically, what made it impress? Two things are that make it stand out to me. One is that it's also in the Best International Film Feature nomination pool, so it's getting love in another category. But the second was I just felt it was incredibly difficult to achieve that product, that what they produced on film. And basically, what it was you had the Romanian healthcare fraud. I know it sounds boring. It's quite intriguing, though, where this news reporter, they unravel a quite, it's like a James Bond-esque villainry like story about the Romanian healthcare fraud that goes all the way into, companies to the government. And you get points of views from all parties. And it's quite fascinating. And it tackles a subject in which there's a nightclub in the Ukraine, I believe it was, in Kyiv, I think it was, that burnt, and they had no escape because there was only one door or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened was they got sent to Romania to treat their burns, and then they died like 30 days later. And it's like, why are they dying 30 days later? That it's not even the burns at this point. What is it? And they find out like the hospital's disinfectants were tainted, and it's quite unraveling. But anyway, for plus 800, I didn't mean to go on that longer spiel for it, but I think check it out, just because it's more, even not even talking about betting, it's just a great film. It's really interesting.
Looks like Crit Camp is plus 2,000, huh?
Yeah,
21.
Yeah, what we're I guess both agreeing on is I think Octopus Teacher is a weak number one. So even if you, whichever side you take, I think there's some value at looking down the board and finding a couple nice plus spots that most people honestly don't even think about to look this far down. Most people don't make it.
And anybody see Time?
Yeah, I like Time. It was good. I mean, again, this is a strong field. Best documentary.
But
I could see Time winning for sure.
Oh, really? Because I was gonna say that kind of says it all when you go, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
You go, okay, well, it didn't make that big of an impression. But
I like Mank as a possible upset for best cinematography. I know Nomadland's strong there, but I don't know. Stuart, what do you think?
I've been hearing that narrative because then it just won the Cinematographers Award, right? It just won at the National Cinematographers whatever award show. Mank just upset what do you call it? Just upset Nomadland. But I see Nomadland cleaning up tomorrow, just overall in general. I think Nomadland wins most categories it's in. And I think this is a good spot where it starts building momentum early on. The National Cinematographers association, these guys really appreciate black and white movies a lot. Historically, they have, and Mank is a black and white movie. So I think these are kind of this real cinematography, like nerds out there, I guess, kind of appreciating a movie that they really liked. And then once we get to the broader Oscars base, they go with the favorite, which is Nomadland. That's my personal view on it.
Are these kind here the cinematography and such, production design? Is that all stuff that we see at the beginning of the award show?
Yeah, these are like the technical categories. We'll see them for the first couple hours.
They usually start with the supporting roles too, I believe.
Yeah, they want to suck people in early and then keep them through for the middle and then get to the end. Yep.
Look, all they have to do is play Husavik a few times and I'll stick around for
We even got makeup and hairstyle. Yep, I think you gave a little bit about that.
Maroney should take that, but I love Pinocchio's hair. I was thrown at how good that was. I wasn't expecting for it to be that good. Yeah, Pinocchio was solid.
Looks like Ma Rainey's got the edge there, though, huh?
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. The hairstyle, it's basically the hairstyle of Ma Rainey's versus the makeup of Pinocchio. So we'll see him duke it out. But I saw specials on Fox Bet. And I think there's a hedging opportunity here. Stuart, you tell me if you think this is a good idea or not. But the parlay is basically you have Boseman to win Best Actor. You have the director from Nomadland to win Best Director. And then you have Mulligan to win Best Actress. And then you have Nomadland to win Best Picture. So those four. So you could take that for plus 250. I feel like Mulligan would be the only one who could lose in that. Do you think it's a good idea to hedge that with Viola Davis or Andrea Day for best actress. Would you do that?
Yeah, I would. If I were to do that, yeah, I like that actually. If I were to do it, I would hedge it with Andra Day personally. While I think Viola Davis might have more of a chance, I think it's going to be really hard for these Oscar voters to check off Chadwick Boseman and then also check off Viola Davis in the same movie that wasn't even nominated for Best Picture. So, I find it hard to believe that both, I don't think that's happened in a long time where both acting categories go to a movie that's not even in contention for Best Picture. But for the odds, I like that. I think plus 225 is because your only real like super big challenge is Carey Mulligan.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
plus like what, plus 120. So you're getting 100 extra points on there. I think that's some pretty solid value.
Very interesting. Very good stuff. So if there's not any of those little ones that you guys are still wanting to get back into, and here's something: is there anything out there that's jumping at you like this is one that you can sneak in right now that they ain't looking at, but you know is going to be there? What's that?
I
Tom?
think I'm looking at Tenet minus 333 best visual effects on Fox Bet right now, and I'm hearing that a lot of people love the visual effects for Midnight Sky. Of the 38 movies I watched, there were one or two that I will never watch again. Midnight Sky is one of them. I wasn't even impressed with the visual effects of that movie. I don't see how it's plus 260. I thought Love and Monsters visual effects were stunning. One and only Ivan. The whole movie was visual effects with these animals talking and walking. It was basically Dr. Dolittle, but I mean, I thought that was better. So I don't know. I think they were talking about how Tenet, like they might hold it against Christopher Nolan by trying to rush fans back into the theater.
Yep.
I don't. That just feels like something out of left field, almost like Justin Fields' work ethic. Like it feels made up. So like I just don't. I don't know. I think for minus 333, I might want to take Tenet's visual effects because the whole movie was in reverse basically, which is insane to pull off. So yeah, I might look into that.
Monotone, what's the one for you that's out there?
Well, I do want to agree with that. I feel the same way. And the one for me that is my favorite and that I'm the most invested in is Trial of the Chicago 7 for best editing. I have a solid write-up posted on my Twitter for that the other day. And pretty much the synopsis is that Trial of the Chicago 7, I don't think it's going to win that many awards, but I think the Academy loves this cast. It's a super deep cast, super talented cast. They love Sorkin. And this movie probably is, I would say, as someone who loves Sound of Metal, which is the front runner currently, it might even be the best edited movie of the year. Even like, I think it wins it on its merits, but it's kind of has the editing style that the Academy loves. It's really quick. It's flashy. It brings 7 different narratives together. It incorporates old footage. It does a lot of cool, fast editing that I think because Trial of the Chicago 7 isn't going to be that recognized across the board, I think this is the one where it really does take it home. And at minus 110, I think that's great value because Sound of Metal, I love the movie and I think it does have really good editing, but a lot of the editing is sound related. It takes us into the hearing, and I think the Academy will award that in the sound category to Sound of Metal. So I really like. Yeah,
they will. You mentioned the 7 narratives. I think that's key for Trial getting the film editing award. And I think the only competition in, parallel to what you're saying with the 7 narratives is The Father. And the reason I say The Father is because the movie deals with a man dealing with dementia, and that involves identity confusion and setting confusion. So what you have is a man who doesn't know what's real. Like he's having a hard time remembering, who his daughter is, who the nurse is. Is he at his home? Is he in someone else's apartment? Is he in a nursing home? And when you have a story that confusing, film editing becomes so crucial. And so in relation to the 7 narratives that Stuart brought up with the Trial, I think that would be the only rival to Chicago, Trial of Chicago 7 would be The Father, for those reasons of dealing with, 7 narratives or character jumbulation or different settings that you're trying to make clear for the audience.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually agree. I think that is the biggest competitor. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I might hedge a little bit with The Father personally because it has pretty long odds. I think I might end up just adding like a long shot for The Father for multiple categories. So best actor for Hopkins, screenplay, editing. I think I might just do a little mini ticket on the side where it's just The Father because I completely agree with that. I think that's a good point.
Wow. Great stuff right there.
You taking notes, Paul?
Oh, heck yeah. I'm gonna be hitting the old betting.
We'll be
room.
legal in Florida soon, man.
Win, please.
They're
win.
getting there.
Right now, we have to take a boat and go offshore.
I know, right? We're getting there. The Hard Rock, they're making moves.
There's nothing wrong with those boats. So I like that, dude. You go out there for the night, you take it 10 miles off the coast or whatever they take you. You can do everything they got. You know, you got the tables, you got everything there. So there's nothing wrong with that. But that is some great stuff. And yes, I'm taking a lot of great notes right here. But let's move into the big one then. Let's go for the movie because I got some questions for those two. But we're gonna start off with Tom. Give me the one who's winning. Who's winning?
I think Nomadland's winning. It is personally my favorite, which I had a hard time saying because I loved Another Round. I love Sound of Metal. But it's Nomadland it was straight art. I mean, it was not to sound like a nerd. It was beautiful. So I think Nomadland's going to win. Now, if you're asking me for something outside of Nomadland, I think Trial is the most viewed movie. So popularity contest, I think Trial wins. But in terms of money coming in, a lot of money's coming in on Minari right now. I think it's Nomadland that is the winner.
Really, Minari, huh? Okay, Monotone. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting great odds with -220, but Nomadland is kind of winning everywhere. I think, I don't know, it was looking for a little bit like maybe Promising Young Woman might make a run. I believe that's nominated for picture, right? Promising
It
Young-
is, yeah.
I believe it was making a run for a little bit. But I think the hype has died down. I think we've seen like just the general like level of excitement for that movie fall a little bit. I think Nomadland probably was the best movie of the year. It's pretty close in my opinion. And I think Minari might be the second best movie of the year. I just think so many people want Minari to win, so they're betting on it. Like Minari really is like a very good watch. You know, it's a great, enjoyable movie, but it's hard for me to believe. I feel like that the betting, the money we're seeing coming in on Minari is more people just rooting for it to win rather than it actually having a good chance to win.
So to be clear for everybody though, you both think that Nomad, right?
Nomadland, yeah.
And then Trial maybe, and then the dark horse would be Minari.
I don't know. Who would the dark horse be? I mean, I guess Minari. I don't know. Not Mank. I don't think Mank's gonna win. The reason I don't think Mank is gonna win, I love Mank. Mank was one of my favorites. I understand why it was nominated for 10. But I was talking to Johnny Avello. He brought this up. I think it's a good point because I watched this movie with my mom and she brought this up too. It may have been over the heads of some. Like if you don't know Citizen Kane, you're gonna be lost from the beginning of that movie. And the flashbacks certainly don't help. You know, because they go back and forth in time. So
Right.
I personally loved Mank, but I think it's a little confusing for some.
Gotcha. Okay, so now that we got those, I want to know about the movies. I want to know which one was your actual favorite movie, Tom. Not the one you
Mine
think
was
gonna win. Which was your favorite movie?
I mean the nerd in me says Nomadland, but like Another Round to me, I'll watch that every day. Like seriously, I will watch that every day. So
Which one?
Another Round. It's not nominated for best movie, but
Really?
of the 38 I watched, it was I could watch that any day at any time.
Another Round, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what you liked about Nomad.
It was just beautiful. I mean, it was shot well, emotional, intimate, great cinematography work. You know what really got me was the very end when she meets with one of the guys. He talks about his son killing himself and why he set up this place for nomads to go live. And it was a really just beautiful film.
Okay. Monotone. What has been your favorite movie this year?
My favorite movie was probably Sound of Metal. I've talked about it a good amount, but I really did enjoy Sound of Metal. I think I like connected to that movie more than any other movie, honestly.
What was it about it?
So Sound of Metal is about a heavy metal drummer that pretty much goes deaf, has these ear problems, and then it follows his
Oh, wow.
interaction with living in a deaf community and like his kind of struggle with all of that. I think it's a great movie, and I would recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it yet.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's great.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the Chicago Seven.
Yeah, so Chicago 7, I love Sorkin, first of all, just to get the bias out the way. I think Aaron Sorkin is probably the best screenwriter in the business right now. And I think it's pretty hard to argue against that. But this movie, it kind of, I don't want to say it fell flat to me. I think it was an enjoyable movie. It had a message, a pretty strong political message that carried weight with a lot of people. It had a super good cast. It was well acted, but it didn't feel special to me, I guess is the biggest thing. Like a lot of people like to love it and a lot of people like to hate on it. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think it was an enjoyable movie. I'm glad I got to watch it. And I like Sorkin. I appreciate all the things he does, but I don't think we're going to see Trial of Chicago 7 win very much. And I'm kind of fine with that, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so we got your boat that you're the one you think is going to win. We have your favorite movie that you had this year. Now, this is the fun part. Monotone, tell me which one you hated. And I don't care if it's one that you really that's everybody likes right now. It's a favorite, whatever. Tell me the one that you hated because it just wasn't no good.
Oh God, this is well, hate is a strong word, but especially because he
Okay,
just, yeah.
dislike.
I mean, I didn't care about Mank at all. I know he just talked about Mank. I think probably 80% of the population, if you sat them down and watched Mank, they'd be like, okay, that was like an okay movie. I'm glad. Like it is
Confusing.
yeah, it's confusing and it's important for like Hollywood loves Hollywood. So Hollywood will make movies about Hollywood all the time, and normally Hollywood movies do great at the Oscars. And if this movie was slightly better, it might win every single Oscar imaginable because they love voting for themselves. You know, some of these people were still alive back when Citizen Kane, like premiered. Like I don't know what the exact year was, but they were voting for it then. They'd vote for it again. Like I think Mank was pretty boring. It wasn't as visually interesting being in black and white. I think it was an interesting creative decision. David Fincher is one of the best directors out there, but this felt more of a project of him appreciating a screenplay that his father wrote back in the day. It doesn't feel very updated to modern times, and I wouldn't recommend Mank to anybody personally.
That's what I want to hear right there.
That's
Tom,
what I want to hear.
which one is your worst one?
Midnight Sky. I don't even think it's close.
Oh,
It's-
okay. I thought we were talking about Best Picture. Yeah, Midnight Sky is a terrible
are
movie.
we?
Yeah.
What do you
No,
want? What do you want?
I want
Paul?
I want your worst movie that you saw. I don't care if it's a favorite or it's not. I just
Okay.
want the worst one you've seen.
Yeah, it's Midnight Sky. I wouldn't even. I would maybe Over the Moon comes close in the animated department. There's only so many songs I can take in an animated film, but yeah, I think it's Midnight Sky. I will say the two most underrated films. I would say News of the World is probably the most underrated. Greyhound was pretty terrible too. Greyhound was pretty bad for best sound. I didn't like that at all. But News of the World was underrated. Eurovision was underrated. I thought that song was really good. And One Night in Miami, I don't think it's talked about enough. Regina King did a great job directing that.
That's a great point though, Tom. Underrated. Monotone, which one do you think was very underrated?
Let's see. Well, just
Should
a
have got
quick.
some play, but it didn't.
Yeah, I thought we were talking about Best Picture a minute ago. I agree. Midnight Sky was the worst. I wouldn't recommend that to anyone.
So that's a good movie, yeah.
Yeah, a movie I'd recommend to a lot of people that Wolfwalkers is a great animated movie. I think it has a shot in almost every year except a year a Pixar movie is nominated.
You're right, yeah.
But it's a very like impressive movie and it has a cult following. A lot of people I see on Twitter are trying to convince themselves that it'll win. It won't win, but it's a great movie. Definitely most people don't care about the animated movie. And then probably Judas and the Black Messiah was a very interesting movie too. I don't know how many people have gone around to that one, but it's a well acted movie. It's definitely a good watch.
I'm actually getting to that one tomorrow, I hope. I am very familiar with all of that kind of stuff, and I'm a history buff, so just one of those things with me. But since we were talking about the worst and all, and you guys were giving me your worst, have either of you saw any of Bruce Willis's latest movies? Because
Can't say I have.
okay, there's your worst movies right there. Anything Bruce Willis has been in the last year and a half, 2 years. There was one he just put out where he was in Venice, and he was, I don't know what happened to Bruce, but Bruce has gone down. Okay.
Did you catch the one where he played a superhero, like Unbreakable, maybe something like that?
Yes. Oh my.
Yeah, that was a real bad one, real tough watch.
And I keep watching these stupid things because I
Yeah,
was
that's on you, man.
a Bruce Willis fan. I love
Look.
Bruce Willis, so I keep watching, and every time he suckers me into something worse.
Look, if you need to watch Pulp Fiction, that's cool. But what you do every December, you just watch Die Hard, the first one. You just watch it, and you're good.
100%.
And
And
that's all you do.
I am a Pulp Fiction fanatic. Okay, so
Okay.
I love that. I love that the music. The music to Pulp Fiction.
I
love it.
personally think Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever.
Yes, and
Some
I
people
will
won't
fight.
even call it a Christmas movie.
I will
but
fight with you that it is a Christmas movie, and
Yeah,
I
I think
agree.
it is. What do I know? I'm just a humble sports betting media member.
All right, man. Wait, real quick, Monotone. Did you have any thoughts on Bruce?
I mean, I'm with you. I watched that Unbreakable superhero movie because I like comic book movies in general too. I enjoy watching those, and that
Yeah.
one was supposed to be kind of good. It was really bad. It was really hard to watch. Make it
What
through.
happened to him though? It's like, is he just taking stuff for money now? And you know,
Yeah,
I
he's
don't-
Yeah,
doing a movie, spending a couple weeks out there, buying a new house. You know, he's just he's cruising at this point. He has nothing to
man.
prove.
he can't pay bills with Die Hard. You know.
Yeah,
You gotta
call
keep
it
making movies.
retirement, right?
Right.
He's
Oh,
retirement.
before we go, I just landed on costume design. Stuart, what's your take on that? Because I think I think Ma Rainey should win, but the movie felt like a playwright where you have like really just one setting. So I felt like the quantity of costumes wasn't there for Ma Rainey's. And I thought Mulan was terrific. Do you like Emma or Mulan maybe in that? Or do you think Ma Rainey's got the best costumes?
So I think Ma Rainey's gonna win, but I think Emma would be the second best option right there because it is a period piece with some pretty interesting costume design decisions. Actually, they didn't stick to the normal. Like I think they got a little creative, which I appreciated. So I think Emma has some value. I think they're gonna award Ma Rainey a little bit more than maybe they should. I agree with you. I think we didn't see a huge diverse amount of different like costume design options, but it feels like it's a pretty heavy favorite for a reason. So Emma, I could see pulling a surprise. I don't think people like Mulan. I didn't like Mulan specifically, so I wouldn't go there, but I could see Emma.
Very good. Very good. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on here tonight and doing this little thing. I think there's not enough out there that talks about the Oscars myself. And Monotone, it seemed like you were kind of singing to the open woods when you kept saying all that stuff. And I thought, you know what? Let's do something about that because I know there's a lot more people out there like me who like this stuff. They just don't watch it all the time. And so we appreciate guys like you and Tom who do keep a hold of this and can come on and tell us all about it and give us these little hints and things. It really is great. And I appreciate the both of you.
Thanks.
Glad.
We'll leave you hanging there.
Yeah, sorry. No,
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, man. Thanks for I had 71 and a half hours of movie watching, you know. I got a lot to say. So thanks for having me.
Not a problem, man. And Monotone, we'll do this again. Maybe we'll do it for we'll start do some more betting ones or something like that, huh? Get you on again.
So we can do the Emmys next year. There you go. I don't know
There you
anything
go.
about TV, but I'll figure it out.
There you go. And Tom, we will definitely have you back again too. I appreciate everything that you've done, and I hope all goes well at the place that you're at right now. Sounds like you're doing really good. And maybe I'll come down and see you.
I hope EDF goes. You know, I always keep telling people about y'all. So keep it up.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you very much. And of course, this was brought to you by EDF. So everybody, please take a gander at theeverydayfan.com. We try to have as much as we can on everything, sports and entertainment. We need more entertainment. Trust me, we need more entertainment stuff, but hopefully we'll get there. But again, I appreciate you guys for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.